Thank you, Travis Matthews. So this is the Goldilocks segment. Who's too high, who's too low, and who is just right?
Exactly. Let's get to Pete's Top 10, where there's a new number 1 and a new number 2. Detroit Lions stand atop the NFL right now at 9-1. Buffalo Bills at 2. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. All the way to 3.
Meme.
Pittsburgh Steelers at 4. Philadelphia Eagles at 5. But Minnesota Vikings at 6. Baltimore Ravens at 7. Green Bay Packers at 8. Chargers at 9. And the Cardinals breaking into the top 10 at 6-4. Kind of by default with everyone else falling off. Bottom 5.
They were headed there.
Panthers at 28. Titans at 29. Giants at 30. Raiders at 31. And then Pete's Jacksonville Jaguars taking up the rear.
Oh.
Kind of like they did on Sunday. All right. So who's too high? Kyle?
Too high. I think you know where I'm going with this.
No.
Too high.
I see it right
ironically, on a game where the kick was too low. The Green Bay Packers. Okay. Here's the deal. You allowed a rookie quarterback
just right.
on a team that was in free fall to drive down the field at the end of the game in a gotta-have-it situation. I'm talking about the Chicago Bears. And obviously, I'm a little salty, and I want a little bit more airtime about the Bears and the Packers game. But at the end of the day, you allowed a rookie to be at his best when his best was needed. You told me about this defense.
Jared Alexander was out.
I don't care. It's fourth, 3rd and 18. It's 4th and 3. It's Roma Dunze down the sideline on a contested catch, on a give your guy a chance ball. I don't know.
Jared Alexander would have been there.
Maybe I'm still salty. Maybe I'm still salty about this. So in addition to that, you get the red zone turnover, 4th down stop. Good teams, great teams. I would say teams that are ranked as highly as Pete has them ranked.
Who should be ahead of them?
I'm just here to talk about the Green Bay Packers right now, Pete. Teams that are ranked that highly should not have the highest paid quarterback ever commit turnovers in the red zone or 4th down stops. I feel like they shrunk in the big moment, minus the field goal.
They are where they should be, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't think they are, again, a top 5 team in the NFL. I don't think they're competing with the likes of, I mean, they didn't when they played the Eagles. They lost to the Vikings, Eagles, and Lions at this point. So the 3 teams ahead of them, they've lost to, but everyone behind them that they've played, they've beaten. So I think that's about the right spot for them.
We haven't seen the best of the Green Bay Packers yet. We still have not seen the best of that.
Well, we know why you say that.
They haven't. You haven't. The offense, the quarterback was hurt. He still doesn't look all the way back.
And pretty healthy.
I thought he was pretty good.
Better.
He just had the one bad throw.
Not healthy enough to evade the defenders on 4th and.
Because people were saying like the offense is in a tough spot. They scored 20 points on 7 drives and had one drive end at the 2-yard line and one drive end
they weren't bad on
as an interception in the end zone. So every drive they moved the ball.
I still think as we go deeper in the season, we're going to be better. We're going to be better. We're going to see better on offense.
They will, yeah.
And defensively, with Alexander's there, it's a different team. So
I'm happy with the fact that they only have 3 losses right now because I don't think they've necessarily played any better than that. They haven't been that good.
They've got
I think they have the ability to play
head coach offensively. They got Jordan Love. They've got all those receivers we talk about every week. They've got a great O-line that they invested in the draft. They've got a new defensive coordinator.
They're going to be good by the end of the year.
They should have at the very least 2 losses. They've got 3 losses. They should have 4 losses after this past week against the Chicago Bears. You could do it, and I'm doing it to the Packers today. Too high.
Disagree.
All right. My team that's too high. I'm going down the list here. New England Patriots at 23. I didn't really have a great argument for this, but they're just not better than the Saints right now. And they're not better than the Browns right now. I don't even think they beat the Jets, but I'm not sure they're better.
We get it. Drake May's really good.
Drake's good. The rest of this team is so bad. This offense is so untalented. It's tough to watch on a weekly basis. They're just not that good a team. And defensively, I mean, you've seen, I think they honestly have better personnel this year than they did last year. Guys like Keon White, guys like Christian Gonzalez, but they're getting far worse results. I mean, that's to be expected. We knew that was going to happen. You lost Bill Belichick, but I don't think there are any great shakes on the defense side.
I don't think they're a great team either, but I think there's a lot of garbage around them. Look about Cleveland. Cleveland.
A lot of garbage.
New Orleans is better than them.
Come on. New Orleans lost to the Panthers 3 weeks ago.
That was okay, which leads me to my next one. Too low.
Saints?
The New Orleans Saints. They had a few rough weeks, starting with 3 really tough losses. Philadelphia by 3, Atlanta by 2. They had probably the worst October in football, right? I mean, quarterback gets hurt. You go through all those losses, the way that they lost those games, and then they got blown out a couple times with their backup in there. And then they bled. It was such a bad October, it bled into November. They lost to the Panthers. That's when Dennis Allen got fired, and then the Rizzler showed up. And like any great special teams coach, he finds a way to connect with guys on both sides of the aisle, the party aisle, offense, defense, stars, guys who are gadget guys, special teams coaches. This is kind of like a non sequitur into a discussion about which coaches are best for interims. It's always special teams.
Always special teams.
Got to be special teams coaches because they find a way to connect with everybody. That locker room found a way to.
Well, because they have like the least on their plate. They have to watch like special teams.
But also
all week.
From a personality standpoint, the offensive coaches, they're like almost too smart to have conversations with. The defensive coaches are like mob bosses. They don't even have time to talk to you usually. The special teams coaches can talk to anybody. They can motivate anybody.
Yeah, like if Jacksonville fired
I love the
Doug
Saints.
Peterson, Heath Farwell should be the interim coach.
I love the Saints.
Yeah.
I think they're too low, as I just outlined.
I think they're better than the Patriots, yes.
My other team that I think is too low, and truthfully, I mean, they are very close to being switched wholesale with the team that's in the top 10 right now. It's the Miami Dolphins. They have been on this since Tua came back, the past 4 weeks. They lost on a heartbreaking loss on a field goal at the end to the Arizona Cardinals. Heartbreaking loss, almost took the Bills to overtime in Buffalo a few weeks ago, and then beat the Rams, beat the Raiders. This looks like the team we thought we were going to see the whole season before Tua and his injuries. This is who we thought the Dolphins were going to be. And to me, they should be right up there with teams like the Seahawks, Texans at 13 and 14 right now, instead of down at 21. Just with what they're playing right now, they are so much better than a 4-6 team. You are not going into a game with them thinking they're anything like the teams around.
I mean, they were in a game with the Raiders at home the other day. That was a close game.
It was not that. What, two
well,
scores?
In the third quarter, it was a close game. I mean,
the Raiders lost the
they're
Raiders.
Okay. I mean, they're okay. I mean,
they can score points.
Yeah, I mean, Tua's played well. Don't get me wrong; he's played well.
I think it's too little, too late for this group.
Oh, it
definitely is.
It's a house of cards
right now.
If they get even the sense that somebody can stop them again offensively, they could be like, "Oh shit, here we go again."
Yeah, I mean, their schedule. They got the Patriots this week. Their schedule isn't brutal.
Don't let Drake May get hot.
I said they could get to 9 wins, but I don't think 9 wins gets in the playoffs anymore. Sadly. All right.
The Goldilocks
team, who's just right.
Oh, gosh, it just pains me to say this, but the new #1 team in the land, the Detroit Lions, atop Pete Prisco's weekly power rankings.
So tell Detroit to get off my ass.
The Goldilocks team.
It's mine as well.
You know what? I don't think the ass on that Lions logo is big enough because that's what this team plays with. They play with a whole lot of ass, Pete. And that's what I love about this team. I know I'm a Chiefs guy, and I've been really enjoying their undefeated season up until this past weekend, but this Detroit Lions team, they're undeniable. They're ass kickers. And not only that, they can go on the road in prime time and have their quarterback throw 5 interceptions and still win the football game. They have dominated teams week in, week out like nobody's business. Their head coach is aggressive. He instills confidence in their football team. They've dealt with injuries at star positions, and they've moved forward without blinking. Jared Goff, his story is unbelievable. The running backs are great. It's a team that's rooted in the offensive line. It's a team. And I love these guys. I am in love with the Detroit Lions. And you know this. I've been on the Lions for a while, and I believe it. And I heard Nick Wright talking yesterday that you can't win a Super Bowl with a human being, a civilian at quarterback. And he essentially is calling Jared Goff a civilian. And I agree with Nick Wright on a lot of things. I disagree with him here. I think that Jared Goff can't win a Super Bowl with this roster. Dan Campbell's been getting amazing things out of Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. And like Ben Johnson said last week, when asked about his offense, he said, no. This is our offense. This guy, Jared Goff's unbelievable. The Lions, Goldilocks, it's perfect.
By the way, Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer won Super Bowls, in case anybody's wondering. It can happen.
I guess they're not civilians.
It can happen. But Jared Goff is better than those guys.
That's my point.
Yeah. You is that your just right?
That was my just right as well.
Great.
And it's, I think, not enough like people, or would you just need to, I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say. Jameson Williams needs to get more credit for his addition and what he brings to that offense, transforming just how dynamic this offense has been this year. Because they didn't have They really even have like a number 2 last year. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sam Laporta, your tight end, was number 2.
Huge year from him.
But now you have this vertical element to the offense that it was, a vertical and like a horizontal vertical, a guy who can just get open on crossers at will that opens up all the other stuff for Laporta, for Amon-Ra St. Brown, that putting that guy in and having the trust of his head coach and his quarterback. I just think this offense just presents so many challenges and so many mismatches. And when you have a guy like Ben Johnson pulling the strings, just good luck every single week.
They didn't even have Laporta the other day.
Yeah.
Here's what really makes it go, and you know this. That offensive line is it's brute strength. And watching the tape of that game, it was unreal what they did to the Jaguars up front. And Jacksonville's not good up front in the middle of that line. The ends are.
Pros.
The ends are.
But those are professional football.
They got moved and moved. I sent out a picture on Twitter of a hole. I swear there's no lying that we could have crawled through it and got 2 yards. That's how big it was. And I think when you look at it, the week before they weren't great on the offensive line. The only one that played really well against the Texans was Ragnow. And then they come back. Even Penei Sewell wasn't great against the Texans.
I sent you some stuff from that one.
Yeah. And so this week you go back. Zeitler looked like he was Zach Martin in his prime. I mean, he was fantastic. Decker was back and played well. I mean, they were good. Even Glasgow, who wasn't good the week before, played well. Across the board, that's the key. Because you know what Goff can do? You know those crossing routes and all those those pivot routes that take a long time. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is great. Put your foot in the ground and come out of it, whichever way you go, the option route. They take time. Goff can get through, stand there and go left, go right, go to the middle and come back. He's great at it because they allow him to do it. And running the ball the way they do enables him to hit those play action passes. Ben Johnson's great at calling plays. It works. The only concern going forward is rushing the quarterback.
Yep.
He gets to Darius Smith.
He got a sack,
but they weren't great for much of that game, and that's not a good offensive line in Jacksonville. So that's going to be the concern. Do you have sack, fumble, game over guy in the postseason?
They definitely aren't. I mean, there's no complete team this year, right? There's no one that has the goods on both sides of the ball. There's the Lions are probably the best offense in the NFL this year, but I don't think we'd even call them a top 10 defense, right?
If Hutchinson was there,
they would be.
It's different.
Yes, if they're fully healthy, that is the thing. They've really been
now. They lost Anzalone too.
So if they were fully healthy, sure, but right now they're not a top 10 defense. So like the Ravens are probably number 2 offense, nowhere close to a top 10 defense. Chiefs, top 3 defense. Steelers, top 3 defense. Those teams aren't close to top 5 to 10 offense.
Ravens are top 2 offense right now.
Yeah. Those Ravens,
that was just one game.
That's playoff Lamar.
But no one really has.
Well, they must have told him before the game it was a playoff game. Like the Steelers.
It's January.
Hey, Lamar. It's January, buddy.
How was your Christmas?
I would do that every week. I would be such an idiot if I played against a guy like that. I'd be, hey, Lamar.
Happy New Year.
It's great. Happy New Year to you.
Cousins at a 1 p.m. game. Like, isn't it past your bedtime?
Hey, Kirk. Big game, Kirk. Big game.
Lunesta?